Good morning, Cohee attendees. This is Brian Peace. I'm the contract manager for Cohee Community of Washington and the Pro Tem contract manager for Cohee Alliance. We're here with Shannon Steketee she's the e-government product manager. She's going to do a short presentation on My L&I. So Shannon, thank you for taking some of your time to share with us today. If you can't hear us, please send a chat note, or you can unmute yourself and let us know that. But otherwise, we're going to presume everyone can hear okay. And with that, Shannon's going to take it away. Shannon?
Good morning, everybody. I'm Shannon Steketee. As Brian mentioned, I'm the e-government product manager, and I'm responsible for the My L&I product as well as the Secure Message Center. And that's what we're going to be demoing today. We'll be focusing on the provider dashboard, and we'll take a quick look at the Secure Message Center as well. Also, just call your attention to the chat. You should have a chat window available in the WebEx. If you have any questions along the way, I want you to feel free to go ahead and call the questions out in the moment. It's a little bit easier to answer the questions while we're going. You can certainly unmute yourself as well. Everyone, when they dial in, is muted by default. But if you have any questions and it's easier to speak them rather than type them, certainly feel free to unmute yourself and ask any questions. Okay? So I am going to go ahead and get started here. I'm going to share my screen. And what we're looking at here is the provider dashboard. So as a provider, whenever I log in as a L&I provider, what I'm going to do is land on this dashboard after I've set up a relationship with L&I. And typically that's set up at the organization level. And I get access to all of the claims associated with all of the providers in my organization. So for instance, if I get access to group health as a provider, I get access to all of the claims associated with group health. And when I log in, I'm going to land on a dashboard that looks something like this. Just so you know, we're looking at test data today, so some of the data might look a little strange or unusual, and you'll see lots of people with test in their names, so don't be alarmed, but that just kind of, it's just the data that we're working with for the demo environment. So when I land on the dashboard, I can get to claim information about my patients several different ways. I can do a search, and I can search by claim number. I can also do a search by patient name, or I can click on a claim that I've added to my watch list, and we'll show you what that looks like, how you get claims added to that watch list in a moment here. But to start out, I'm just going to do a search by patient name. So I entered the data that I had and clicked search, and I get a list of all of the results where test appears in the patient's last name. So I can then, if I want to go and review information about that patient, I can click on the claim number. And what that's going to do is open up a dashboard for this patient and all of their information. And I'm going to just make the screen a tiny bit bigger there. So the goal for this dashboard is so that essentially about 80% of the time when you log in looking for information as a provider, we want the answer to your question to be here on this dashboard. It's not to say that every single piece of information is here. Obviously, there's a ton of information in L&I's systems. So we're also providing easier navigation into some of the other systems, for instance, the Claim and Account Center that contain L&I information. And we're also providing links to some of the key tools for providers on this dashboard as well. I'm going to just kind of scroll through the dashboard here and call attention to some of the details. So in the top of the screen here, in the claim details area, we've got claim status and claim type and some links into the Claim and Account Center and into secure messaging as well. We're also calling out critical contact information. If this worker had seen other providers, there would be a link here for me to view the other provider information. Also, getting treatable conditions, so the diagnoses and types of drugs that are allowed currently on this claim. Okay, and then on the right-hand side over here, I have some links to other applications as well. So there's a link just to go straight into the Claim and Account Center, to submit a report of accident, to transfer care, into the billing system, and then some other tools. For instance, a drug lookup, workshop and training opportunities. I can go into the SAW system to view other applications available from other state agencies. And I can go into the public website to get more information and tools for providers. And then there's also a glossary of acronyms and abbreviations link as well. And down at the bottom, we have a link into the Find a Doctor system, so where I can search for a doctor or provider. One of the things that I really wanted to highlight is some enhancements that we've made to the claim file notes. When we were talking with providers about the kind of information that was valuable to them and that should appear on this dashboard, the claim file notes is something that everyone universally said was really important, and it's something that they check every time they access a claim. So we have added a claim file notes widget, essentially. And what it does when I click on that claim file notes is it opens up a modal in the screen that provides all of that information. Now, that's been available in the Claim and Account Center for a while, but we heard a lot of feedback from customers that it was not necessarily easy to read or easy to find the information that we were looking for. So we did some, basically just some usability, readability improvements. And we also added some nice features such as a text search. So for instance, I can type in a text string that I'm looking for and get all of the results that have that text string in them. And then of course the text string is highlighted so I can see exactly where that result lies. If I want to clear out that search, I can click the Show All. I can also filter by date. So if I wanted to just look at claims from a certain date range, I could choose the date, and the results would be filtered down to just claims from a certain date range as well. And then of course I can do a sort newest to oldest as well to sort the data. So some really nice improvements on the consumability, I think, of the claim file notes information. Another thing I wanted to point out is there's a link to our glossary of acronyms and abbreviations. We know that claim managers often abbreviate in the claim file notes, so that link helps if you're reading a claim file note and you're not quite sure what exactly it is that they're saying. I mentioned the watch list, and I wanted to show you how that works as well. So I can click on a claim on my watch list, and with one click I get straight to the information without having to search. This is nice if there's a claim that I am going to be revisiting or workers' information that I'm going to be revisiting multiple times. It allows me to save something to the watch list and then get back to it with one click in the future. And then when I'm done watching that claim, I can click on the remove from watch list and it disappears, or of course I can click on the little trash can icon here. So it's a nice way to essentially keep track of claims that or patients' information that you're interested in or that you know you're going to be revisiting in the future. Another thing that we are doing in this system is providing links into other systems. I mentioned and called out some of the systems on the right-hand side here. And for these, we're linking just to that system, right? Kind of to the starting point of that system. But if I go back to my dashboard, I wanted to show you some kind of quick links that we've added into other systems. So into the Claimant Account Center, for instance. When I click on that search image documents, it's taking me right to the area in Claimant Account Center where I can perform that action. It's just a way of streamlining navigation and making it a little bit easier to get right to the information you're looking for with less clicks and obviously faster. Another thing that we heard a lot from the providers that we worked with when we were researching what should be on the dashboard is that they're a really busy audience. They're in and out of systems all day long, every day, and whatever we can do to streamline access to information always helps and makes it easier. Similarly, there is a quick search tool added to that search for a doctor widget. So whereas before I would have to, first off go and find the tool and then start at the home screen of the tool and go through multiple screens to be able to get to the search results, that allows me to perform a search right from my dashboard and then get right to the search results faster. Another thing I wanted to touch on while we're on the dashboard here is this count of active users. And what this does is shows me how many people have access to my online information. For instance, if I were the access manager or the administrator for a provider office, it would show me the number of people that have access. We know that it's really important, particularly in this day and age, to manage who has access appropriately and remove access to confidential information when someone is no longer with my organization. It also lets me know when there's a new user who has requested access. So if I click on this link, it's going to take me to the Manage Access page, and that's just showing me the user that has requested access, and I can approve that. It also shows me the type of access that I have and all of the other people in my organization that have access. There's also an option to set up another user. If I want to give another person in my organization access to this information, I can put in their name and their email, and what that does is sends them an email with essentially an authentication token. When they click on the link in the email, it will automatically set up their access for them to this online information. They do still have to go through the setting up a username and password step, but makes it easier for me to grant access to somebody else. Another thing that I wanted to show you as far as streamlining access is this send a message link. And what this does is gets me right to the screen in the Secure Message Center where I can compose a message. So previously, I'd have to, go into the Claim and Account Center, enter the claim number, and then go find the place where I could send information to L&I, and then that would start me in the secure messaging tool. Then I'd still have to look up the claim again and go through a number of steps. I think it was 8 or 9 steps that we cut out of that process to get to where I can send a message to L&I. This allows me to just skip right to the compose screen, which obviously is what I want to do, and type a message. So I'm going to type a message here. There's also a new feature in the secure messaging system that allows me to send and receive attachments. If I click on this attach button, what it's going to do is allow me to choose a file from my machine or drag and drop a file into this drop area and send a file to L&I. Then I can specify whether or not I want a response and send the message. I'm not going to send this one right at this moment because I wanted to actually point out another thing about the Secure Message Center and the dashboard, and that is that both systems were designed to be used on smaller form factor devices. So they are responsive and adaptive, and that allows me to use it on my smartphone or tablet. I'm going to just shrink down my window here to give you a feel for what that looks like. So the screen adjusts based on the size of my window, so that if I'm using it on a smartphone or tablet, I can use the system more easily. Another thing that this is really nice for is most of us have smartphones these days, and if I'm using this on my smartphone, I could dictate a message into the system. Makes it a lot easier, faster to send a message rather than trying to type on a small device. Okay, so just another nice feature there. While we're in the Secure Message Center, I'm actually going to go back to the mailbox here. One of the things that you'll notice is this mail icon, and this persists continuously throughout the system. Lets me know how many messages I have, and I can always click on that icon to get right into the Secure Message Center. I wanted to point out some of the updates we've made in this system as well. One of the things that we released earlier this year, in addition to that ability to send and receive attachments, is that we're combining e-correspondence and secure messages into one system. One of the things that allows is it makes it possible for me to send a response to something that came via e-correspondence with a secure message with one click. So this is something that would typically come via e-correspondence. And if I click on the reply icon here, it looks like I'm not set up to send messages for this provider. But typically if I clicked on that reply icon, it would bring up a compose screen and I could send a message in response for this provider or for this piece of e-correspondence. One thing that's nice there also is that it allows me to send that attachment back. So if there was a form that needed to be filled out, I could certainly fill that out on my computer and attach it back to the secure message and return it. Probably less so for providers, but something that we've heard for injured workers is that the ability to send an image is really nice. So one of the things we're calling out is that I can fill out a form and take a picture of it and send it back as a secure message attachment. That's just a nice way for users that don't necessarily have access to a computer. We know that workers in particular are less likely to be using computers and more likely to be using their smartphone. It allows them to fill out a form and send that information back to L&I really quickly and easily. Again, probably less valuable to the provider community, but an important thing to point out nevertheless. Okay, I'm going to go back to the mailbox here. Another improvement in this system is that we're keeping messages longer. they're staying in this system for up to a year. That allows me to find things. I think the old system booted things out of the system after 90 days, so it's just a nice improvement. There's also a search field, so it allows me to enter some text and search and get down to a specific message really quickly. Obviously, if you have tons of stuff in your mailbox like I do, being able to search for a keyword is a nice benefit. There are also good sort and filter options as well, so I can sort by essentially any of the columns, and I can filter. So if I just want to look at new messages, I can quickly apply a filter and get down to just those messages. Another thing that we added is the ability to see the e-correspondence only or the secure messages only. So when we put those two systems together, we got some feedback from customers that for some users, they really are just interested in the secure messages and not the e-correspondence. Adding that secure message filter allows me to just see the secure messages without having to wade through all of that extra mail. And one other filter that I wanted to point out is this My Mail filter. When I click on this, what it does is filters down to just the conversations that I have had access or that I have had action on and new messages. So you'll notice that this is something that was accessed by me. That's what makes it end up in that My Mail filter. And this is the draft that I just created a moment ago. That's allowing me, again, to just get down to the things that I'm really interested in. So, if I was just interested in secure messages and just my secure messages, I could quickly apply a filter to get down to just the things that I was looking for. We're certainly still making improvements to this system. So, one of the things that we have in the works is adding a to column, or adding to information essentially to this area. It'll allow me to then filter down to things that are to me. Again, with the understanding that sometimes providers get tons and tons of mail, and we want to make it really easy for users to find the things that they're really interested in. Okay, one other thing I wanted to do is go back to the profile page. And for providers, they're probably less likely than most audiences to have multiple, what we call relationships set up, so access to multiple provider organizations. But if I did, I would have multiple dashboard buttons here, or multiple little these little white blocks with a dashboard button. So I would have a unique dashboard that would give me access to all of the claims for that organization, just as a way of kind of helping keep things straight. Also on that profile screen, there is a billing dashboard as well. So if I only had billing access as a provider, if I didn't have claim access, I would just have this billing dashboard, which might be familiar to you guys. It's kind of the old style dashboard. The idea over time is that we'll enhance all of these dashboards to add information to them instead of just providing links to systems, but obviously that takes time. So there is navigation to get back and forth from the different dashboards, both on the profile screen and then also in this drop-down link in the header. So if I had multiple provider relationships, multiple provider dashboards, they would be listed out in this navigation in the header. Okay. I wanted to make sure that we had some time for questions and feedback. So we have about 5 minutes left. Essentially, that's everything that I wanted to cover today. And I want to open up the floor for questions as well. I'm not sure if it's easier for you guys to send them in via chat or if I should unmute you. But certainly if you have questions, we would love to hear them. And if you're not sure what questions you might have right at the moment, I wanted to just let you know that obviously you can contact your Coheed contract manager with questions or suggestions, but you can also send them to our web support team. This is their email address, and you can call their phone number as well. They make sure that questions or feedback, suggestions get routed to the right place. And I want to really underline that we are looking for your feedback and suggestions and how we can improve our systems. It's the people that are using them, that determine how they should work and what should be in them. So we love to hear from our customers. Let's see, I'm going to just open up the chat window here. I don't think we've gotten any questions.
Okay, does anyone have any questions? Feel free to send it in by chat, or you can unmute yourself and just verbally ask over the phone right now.
Well, if there aren't any at the moment, I guess we can go ahead and wrap it up. Thanks for your time and attention this morning. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Shannon, and we appreciate your time. And as Shannon said, if you have any questions, feel free to contact them at web support or any of us as your Coheed contract manager. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.